Welcome to your source for amplitude modulation on ham radio, the AM window.
Yeah. I just want to have the best clunk. That's all I care about.
Clark?
Yes.
Okay, I just wanted to hear your clunk.
That transmitter is 15 feet away.
Billy, yours is what? 5 feet away?
Maybe closer.
Really? Now that's the one in the linear?
Yeah, but all my other relays are clunking too. And you can hear those when I run just the Viking, but they kind of get drowned out by this thing.
Yeah, I know, because you've always had that on your signal. It's just not quite like this clunk. Is this what our lives have resorted to?
Come on, man. Clunks are cool.
I know. I don't have one.
Just another boring Sunday night, I guess.
The only clunk I had a little clunk when this little optocoupler relay would disconnect my diversity antenna when I would key up, but I blew that up, so RF got into it and smoked it. Now it doesn't work anymore. But that was a little clunk. That was like a click.
Yeah, Clark's is more of a click to me than a clunk.
I think Clark's is a clunk. I think they're two different clunks.
I think like my Viking clunk is more of a click too. It's just a couple little P&B relays.
Okay, yeah. So if you want to put it that way, I guess I would classify it as a clicky clunk, not a full scale click, but in the clunk level, but clicky in the clunk level.
What?
Harry, if you want clunks and stuff, you run separate transmitter receivers and all that. Like, what do you use for control? I know that Anon probably does everything. I know Toby was telling me when I was at his place. I was amazed. He's like, yeah, no, I just use the Anon to do this and that and the other thing. And I'm like, damn, man, I've got all these relays and all this crap going on, but you could build. Even look at my YouTube. I was messing around. I built myself a new relay control center, and that's where I get my clunk.
Yeah, I mean, I could make the Anon do pretty much whatever you want, as far as outputs and different cat controls and 12 volt outs and stuff. But well, for my relay, my TR relay on my DX100 isn't that loud. That's behind the transmitter. But I could remote that and make it bigger and have it closer to the microphone to where I could probably hear it.
Yeah, get yourself an 80 amp contactor and use that, because you're not using a 50 ohm coaxial relay anyway. So if it's not 50 ohms, who cares? You can use anything. It's some big crap. I have a 80 amp contactor for the plate, the plate supply on the 810 rig, and that thing's got a good clunk to it too. It's oversized, but it's good to oversize that kind of stuff, switching high voltage.
Yeah, I guess the possibilities are endless. I haven't had that rig on a lot at night. I guess I've been lazy. When I get home from work, I don't feel like firing all that stuff up. I just get on, turn the computer on, and go.
Just get a massive contactor and hook it up to your foot pedal. It doesn't even have to do anything. You could just have a big old contactor clunk.
Just for show. This is a non-functional clunk.
Yeah, it's like Perry keys up clunk, the world is ending. Everyone's like, holy crap, what's that guy running? And you're like, yeah, no, it's an Anon.
Got to make sure that relay looks like a water pump.
That's right. Yeah, no, I'm just running a single 500Z over here. I don't know what you guys are talking about.
That's like playing the sound effect of an engine running through a PA speaker under the hood of a Tesla.
Yeah, it's kind of along the same lines.
Like a Dodge Demon, don't they play like supercharger sounds through the sound system while you're accelerating?
Yeah, right on.
Wait, I don't know about that. I've driven one, but it was like a test drive because I put exhaust on it, custom exhaust on it. But that's the first I've heard that.
I don't think the Demon plays any sound through there. I think your right foot ends up playing the sound. Some of them Volkswagens, though, they play engine noises.
That's what I'm talking about. I don't know. I just said Dodge Demon, but I know some car manufacturers that have like superchargers and stuff. Like they're not that loud, and they play it through the speaker for the driver, so that they feel better about their $75,000 purchase.
Do you know, that's not the first time I've heard that, actually. It wouldn't surprise me.
Did I double with somebody?
What did you say?
Wah, wah, wah. 1 1 1 1 1 1 1 1 1. 1 1 1 1 1 1 1 1 1.
I'm out there.
Yeah.
Man, I'm narrow, huh? Look at that. 5 kc of audio. This isn't unlike me.
That's all I ever run.
I love my 7.2. I think you get a lot. Most people can listen to it. It's a big step for me.
I like E wide. Come on.
That station sounded like he was Fish Tank Mobile.
Damn, John Prine died of coronavirus.
Wasn't that last week?
Oh, I didn't know John Prine. I didn't know he died of it last week. I know he had it, but I didn't think he died last week. Like I said, I knew he had it.
Hey, Clark.
Yes.
You want to hear something yellowy?
Yeah, this was, this just happened. Wait, it doesn't say he died. What the hell is she talking about?
Clark, want to see what I can do?
How am I going to see it? I'm listening on an analog radio.
Want to hear what I can do?
Yeah. Is this going to be something that we'll all go, you know what, that was worth it?
No.
Wow, well, that's enticing.
Want to hear it?
Scott said he wanted to hear it.
All right, hold on.
You're quite a student of Timtron.
How was that?
I think you can work to be his apprentice.
Did it sound yellowy?
A little bit.
Sound like the Timtron.
How about a little red stuff?
Break. W3MMR for identification.
W2BTK, and I apologize that I used lower sideband on 3885.
I can choose in this thing to transmit on lower sideband, upper sideband, or both.
Okay, one Karen.
How about independent sideband?
Let me see, hold on. I gotta find it again.
Well, independent sideband is basically AM stereo.
Tomorrow afternoon or something. Whiskey 2 Echo, November, Yankee.
Holy crap, that's a big signal.
Yeah, I got the Flex working with the Henry 2KD5 today. 200 watts carrier. Yeah.
Ooh, you strapping? Somebody running their washing machine up there, or like 3890 something?
Well, you see that on the fan adapter, like 3892?
Yeah, what is that? It's been there. I remember. I've been seeing that.
Yeah, I've been seeing it too. It seems like it's almost been there every evening for quite a while. Some kind of propagated noise. See, here we go. Now I'm transmitting on lower sideband. Transmitting now on upper sideband. Back to lower sideband. And now I'm transmitting on both sidebands.
Oh, that's cool. Can you feed different audio to each sideband?
No, you can only select in the menu AM transmit sideband select. So basically whichever, one or the other, or both.
Because, you keep your carrier, and then if that would be cool, because that would be ISB. If you could have, left channel in one sideband and a right channel in the other, that would be totally sick. Then you could have two microphones there, and when you go, it was a long time ago, it would sound crazy.
Right, like we were talking about the other night, like Clark and Blaine, and we were all talking about AM stereo. I wonder if there's a way to do it. I can pick which sideband the sync detector demodulates, or I can use, lower sideband, upper sideband, or both.
Perry, with the Anon, you can do a stereo input on it. I bet you it could be done with a like a firmware, or you could probably even do it through software. It would just have to be put into Thetis or something like that. But I bet you the possibility is there to be able to do, left channel on one sideband, right channel on the other sideband, because it's got, when you go through the settings and stuff, you can get into you can have a stereo input, but, obviously AM's mono.
Yeah, when you're using VAC, virtual audio cable, yeah, you can have mono or stereo. And I don't think I have mine. I'm using VAC, but for my audio, but I don't have stereo selected. Let me see what happens when I select it. All right, now it's selected. I don't think it's going to make any difference because I'm not inputting stereo audio. Or maybe I am. I don't know. No, I'm not. I think it's mono. Just going into the USB mic pre with the mic, and then into the PreSonus controller, and then into the radio. But it says I have stereo selected, so I don't know if that did anything.
Well, what you would need to do is, like Billy said, you need to have a second microphone and basically a second audio chain feeding into your computer, and have that second audio chain come in through the VAC2. That's how you would get the stereo input on it. Like he said, with the old Timtron, long time, you could actually you can get stereo into it. But as I know right now, you can't. There's nothing in there. There's no settings, no way that I know of, where you can get one channel on one sideband and one on the other sideband. But I don't know how it's configured inside the radio itself, but it seems like it could be something that would be done through software.
Yeah, well, I know that VAC2 is for receiver 2. So right now, as any of the softwares sit, it only has one virtual audio cable, set up, per receiver. Now, hold on a second. Yeah, it says the button. If you go in the VAC menu, Toby, and just you see mono / stereo. Hold on, let me see what it says. Click this button if the third-party software will open the virtual audio cable in 2-channel stereo mode. So you could probably input stereo, audio, both, like have two mics plugged in, and then use one virtual audio cable to go, into into the Anon. I don't know. I'd have to really sit down and think about it. I can't think about this stuff on the fly. I'm too stupid.
Yeah, if you convert it to digital, you probably could do it with one cable. But it's still, you need two microphones, you know, two transducers to create a stereo image. You could never do it with one or a mono source. You have to have two.
Yeah, it says click this button. God damn it, it keeps going away.
Yeah, Perry, I know the one you're talking about. Basically, you would have to have, I don't know what software. I don't know if that Voicemeter has the ability to do it, but you could kind of have that take, like Billy said, you need a second microphone. You need two audio sources to feed into the computer, to feed into the software that would go into, like, Thetis to actually get a stereo input. I don't know. I kind of want to look into this a little more. That'd be neat, being able to split left and right channels on the upper and lower sidebands.
Yeah, because that's a good point, using Voicemeter, Potato. I have that. And I can use, like, the SM7B on the left side of me, the B1 on the right, and then input them both into Voicemeter, into Potato, and then input a stereo input, have a stereo input going in as a virtual audio cable, and then have that stereo button selected. Yeah, that would, I'd have to, I don't know, I'm intrigued.
Maybe we'll have to hop up to a 10 meter and get into the FM area, see if we can get some FM stereo going.
Yeah, there we go. Yeah, open the virtual audio cable in 2-channel stereo mode. If the third-party software will open the virtual audio cable in 2-channel stereo mode is what that button does. Whatever that means. Okay, well, enough of that, but that's cool. Yeah, maybe it's something we can mess around with. Here, I already have a cable hooked up on this thing here. Alright, where's that? I'll be back. I'm going to mess with this.
And by the way, that gave me a wicked headache when I did that Timmy long time thing.
You shake your head back and forth when you did it?
Yeah.
Yeah. It does. Ow.
Let's see. It's all about the jowl movement, I think. The long time.
Yeah. 1. Alright, I'll be back. One.
What would Clark say? This space for rent.
Well, Billy, how much are you charging?
1, 2, 2, 2. 2, 2, 2. Hello.
Didn't feel like digging to the Probably about 2 feet down, I would chip all that away.
You were cutting out a piston trough.
1, 2, 3. Hello, 1, 2. Audio 1, 2, 3, 4. Hello, test, test, test. 1, 2. 1, 2, 3. 4, 5. Hello. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 1, 2.
Relieve myself. Nice over in the corner, probably. Probably put it right next to the sink.
1, 2, 3, 4, 4, 4. Hello. 1, 2, 3, 4. Hello, 1, 2. 3, 4, 5.
But yeah, I don't know. What happens if you gotta go boom boom?
Well, I mean, I could do that too, but the real problem is it's just basically a behind my shack what you would call a gray water drain. It just runs into the ground out there because.
1, 2, 3. Hello. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. W3MMR. 1, 2, 2. Hello, radio. 1, 2. Hello, radio. Test, test, test. Hello. 1, 2. Test. Hello. 1, 2. W3MMR. Testing. 1, 2, 3, 4.
Which ends up going to the cow pasture, and I don't feel like having that go down next to the cow.
Test 1, 2. Hello, test. Let me see here. W3MMR, testing 1, 2, hello, test. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. W3MMR, testing 1, 2. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Hello, test. Hello, 1, 2, 3, 4. Hello, test. W3MMR. Hello, 1, 2. 1, 2, 3, 4. Hello, 1, 2. 1, 2, 3, 4. W3MMR. Hello, 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Hello, 1, 2. 1, 2, 3, 4. Hello, 1, 2. Hello, 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, test. Hello, test. W3MMR, testing 1, 2. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5.
Anymore.
I switched microphones. This thing sound like poo-poo?
It sounds like you always sound.
Well, that's a good thing. Yay, yay, yay. I just switched to the B1 in my B1 profile. Haven't used the B1 in a while.
Yeah, now you talked for a second. You got a ton of, hold on. Where's my, I'll show you. It sounds like you got yourself one of these.
Oh, okay. Well, let's go into here, and yeah, I can hear it. Oh yeah, I see it on the pan adapter. Look going out. All right, that should have helped that out a little bit. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah, that looks a little better.
I just raised my carrier up a little bit. Let's see. Yeah, see now stuff's starting to respond like a little bit. That's probably good right there. Did my signal change?
Maybe. I wasn't really paying attention.
Real loud.
Is that better? So it doesn't sound like I'm talking into the pickle jar?
The slop buckets that are like, in our passband are starting to come up a lot. So I'd have to go take care of it in the receiver to give you any sort of accurate audio report. But it sounds fine. Now's like not really the time,
Yeah, I narrowed up to AKC, and it takes them right away. From 10 to 8, they were 2 kilohertz in my passband, but now things are better. All right, W3MMR.
W3MMR? Is that what you said?
Yeah, it was like a plug for my website. W3MMR.com.
Oh, you left the W out then.
Okay, so www.w3mmr.
There you go.
Word. I do not like this mic boom. I have this B1 on one of those, you know, those normal mic booms that are spring-loaded and like you mount up above and it's like a big arm that goes back and forth. I don't like it. I got my SM7 on one of the ones that mount on the desk, like right in front of you and to the side, and it's like a little arm, so I can swing it out of the way, and it's not in front of my face, and it's not getting in the way of my computer monitor, and it's like down out of the way. I think I'm going to switch this mic onto that boom and use this mic for a while.
Hey Perry, have you ever tried like filtering your audio down in stages before it hits the filter and at and on? Just so it's like doing a little less work. Have you ever tried something like that?
No, I haven't, because I don't have any bandwidth limiting processing here. When I was using external gear with it, like I said, I don't have any, any filters externally. It was still, being filtered by the radio. But now I only use the internal processing on the software.
See, that's the thing. It sounds good, but that's my thing. It's like you can tell somebody's running an Anon because the filters are so sharp. The S's and T's have a certain sound. Like it sounds like an Anon, And my ear's used to it, but it's got a signature sound. I was wondering, because what I do over here is I filter everything down kind of in stages, and I noticed that helps a lot with like overshoot and the way the S's sound and this and that, just like a little more gentle roll off than like the burnt brick wall like filter. I don't know, something to experiment with. I don't know, but it sounds good anyway. It just has that sound.
Yeah, I know what you mean. I know exactly what you mean. Because the S's can get really sharp on here and kind of be cutting and almost fatiguing to listen to. It get like whistly sounding. I know exactly what you mean. I didn't really do it with this profile, with the EQ on here, but with the SM7, well, I did do it on this one. I turned from 4K. At 5K, I have 12 dB a cut. 6K, I have 12 dB a cut, and 4K, it's at 0. So I drop it off hard at 4K, but I still have energy out there because it's not, I can't drop it down any lower than that. If I could, I would, but I try to ease it. You know what I mean? Like I try to ease it into that upper sibilance range. But I know exactly what you mean. It's a good point. I never really thought about it.
Yeah, I'd give it a try. There's definitely something to it, but a lot of guys don't mind that sound. But just those real super abrupt cutoffs, they sound a certain way.
And normally I don't ever listen wider than 10K. So anybody that runs any wider than that, I'm not hearing that energy out there anyway. So, but the receive filters on these things are sharp as a brick. I mean, it's as sharp as the transmit filters on this thing. So, you'll kind of get that effect on the receive side with anybody. It doesn't matter really what they're transmitting on, but I don't know. I guess over time, you're right. Your ears kind of get used to it, because I can hear a difference in the audio, quality in the high end between my Anon and say my NC303. They're from two different worlds, but the NC303 definitely still stands its own. Holds its own. but you can definitely hear there's more of a crispness with the Anon. I gotta move this microphone. This is annoying the hell out of me.
Yeah, I don't know. You could try running a little wider, and I mean, you know, then the cutoff won't be as abrupt because your highs will naturally start to fall off. That's kind of why I chose 7.2. It's just like it's an area where a lot of the useful information starts to fall off, and anything above that is just, you know, it doesn't add to any intelligibility. But when you get in closer to that 5 kilohertz, there's still useful information above 5 kilohertz in my voice. You know what I mean? During certain S's and T sounds and you know, just mouth movements, you know. But after that, not so much. But I that was like kind of a sweet spot, and I'm not that big a fan of doing the 5 kc thing. I prefer the 7.2 or maybe like 6 or something, but there's a lot of good stuff between 5,000 and 7,000.
You're on sideband, Bill.
No, that wasn't me.
No, it was another Bill. You're on sideband.
Maybe it's a slop bucket. Bear with me.
Yeah, it's better. No, hold on. God damn it, I gotta adjust all my crap here now. Alright, now I have this microphone on a different boom. Now let me widen things out here. Let me go out to 7.7200. Alright, 1, 2, 3. See, there you go, Billy. That's not quite as, doesn't look quite as sharp.
Yeah, your highs sound better.
Do they? Alright, 1, 2, hello, test. Yeah, it's definitely not as sharp. You can see it's definitely more gradual there on either end. And that's at 7.2.
It just plain sounds better.
Alright, well, we'll leave it. I'll let it rock. Somebody's doing a burnout.
You're not much wider than 5 either. It's just when you give those, it doesn't get like that Anon sound to it as much anymore. I prefer it. That's all. It's my opinion.
Yeah, well, like I was telling you, I have at 4K is at 0, and then I have 12 dB a cut from there on out, which is only up to 6,000, which I can, you know, it's a parametric EQ, so I can change, you know, those upper frequencies, but I just have 5 and 6,000 the last two spots there. It's just how I had it, but yeah, we'll let it ride. Cool. But yeah, right, there's not much more energy unless I really go out there with it, but yeah, you're right, it's not much more ever. What's going on, Bill? Why were you on sideband? Or was it Bob? NZO. I guess you got out of there.
And Perry, in my opinion, even if people are listening at 5 kc, you're still going to sound better because you're moving that sharp truncation of information out farther to where there's less energy. So it's not truncating a lot of stuff. You know, look at the pan adapter. You see, you're staying like within that like 5 kc, but sometimes, you know, those go out and they fly out a little farther. They're not going to get that coloration, you know what I mean? And people don't have to be listening at 7.2 to get that. You know, they can be listening at 4.8. It's still going to sound better. You're moving that truncation out further to where there's less information slamming into it.
Right. It's like they get compressed up against that edge, that filter edge. I know exactly what you're talking about, like, because you can see, you're actually right. I can see it on the pan adapter here that it's not, on the color on the waterfall isn't quite as bright. It's a little more, easy, not quite as red on the edges there, on the sibilance side there. But that's a good point, man. Thanks for that. I never thought of it, but it all makes perfect sense, and I'll run it like this. Yeah, for a while, and leave it. Because I haven't touched any of these profiles in months, so that's not to say that they'll never get touched. Oh, that's what she said.
Yeah, no, that's the way to do it. It's that a non-sound on the S's and T's. I'm not that big of a fan.
You calling CQ75?
Oh God, there's Roger. K5 VR X-ray.
CQ75.
Firing up a net. I know, doesn't he do a net sometimes?
Yeah, the Collins Collector's net on, I think it's the first Wednesday of the month. Isn't that right, Clark? Oh, Clark knows, but yeah, he does. I know he definitely does that net. That CQ's coming in loud tonight.
What CQ you talking about, Perry?
You know, that French CQ station that's on like 3881?
Oh, okay. Yeah, I have one of the notch filters. I just leave it parked right there. That's why I'm not hearing it.
Me too. Hey, Toby, whatever happened to that kid that was over there? You ever get licensed up?
Nah, he hasn't yet, and he hasn't really contacted me about it yet, but I have seen he was working on his base station, getting the heck was he putting up, a Mako 5/8 or something? Because, yeah, he lives right next door to a couple of the other CBers around here, so, he's still playing around with that stuff, but he does message me every now and then about, this or that to do with the ham radio. I think last time he did, what was it? It was over this weekend, wasn't it, when the ISS was going to be, like, directly overhead? I think it was this weekend. It's all kind of blurring together on me. But he sent me a message saying, like, oh, are you going to try and make contact with them? It's like, well, not really. I don't have anything set up right now to contact the ISS, but he was all into that for a little bit, trying to do that stuff for, EME contacts and all those kind of things. Basically, he was looking into a lot of this stuff you can do with just a tech license.
Yeah. Man, that's why I personally think that they should give techs digital privileges on HF. Get on with FT8 and see how far they can get out.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. I mean, that's what I was thinking, too, is when they, that talk was going around that they're going to open up, like they're considering opening up some of the tech privileges to give them some digital, privilege down on the HF band. I know for me personally, when I got my tech license, if I was able to get down on the HF band and use like FT8 and, all of a sudden you're making contacts with, Eastern Europe and Japan and Australia, running 35 watts of power, I would have got hooked on it a lot quicker.
Well, see, in my opinion, I don't think they should open up FT8 privileges to techs on the HF bands. Reason being, because it doesn't give them any initiative to get to upgrade. If they can get in the upper part of the bands, like say 3900 to 4 megahertz, okay, they have phone privileges, and say phone privileges on the upper side of 20 meters and 40 meters, they still can get to, you know, the European contacts on those bands. But if they want to do the digital stuff, that gives them initiative to want to have to get their general, so they can get in the, you know, get down to the digital portion of the band.
Nah, I think that they should give them digital privileges and not allowed no phone privileges whatsoever on HF until you upgrade, but you can still run FT8.
Yeah, I'm with you on that, Billy. It's, you know what it is. I think you need to get them hooked. Like they need that taste of being able to make a distance contact, and you know, like Billy was talking about this kid that was over here. You know, me and Billy were sitting here, and he wanted to make a couple contacts. So I, told him, it's like, well, sit down. You know, we tuned up on 40 meters, and a station from Spain was coming through, and this is a kid who's never talked on the radio before, so he was, never talked on, ham bands before, so he was real nervous about it. Like, yeah, you really, I think you need to be able to get your feet wet in something that's a little bit easier to use. KB3WFV.
I don't know. I don't know. In my opinion, I feel the exact opposite. You can get into nets and stuff where you don't have to sit there and and make a contact. They have DX nets and stuff that you can do, where people be really nervous, obviously, to get to a round table with us and guys and QSOs like this and QSOs where there's a whole bunch of guys that know each other for a long time. But when DX is coming in on 20 or 40. I don't know, in my opinion, for me anyway, it wasn't that nerve-wracking making a DX contact. Guys are, oh, this is so-and-so. You can hear a bunch of other people putting their calls out. They hear how it works. It's quick. There's not a big conversation back and forth, and you're trying to figure out what to say. I don't know. I just think that if guys have FTA privileges, they're not gonna want to take the initiative to go ahead and get their general and get up into the phone portion of the band, because all they're going to do is FT8. I feel like all they're going to do is FT8, and they're not going to want to get up in the phone portion of the band, so they're just going to stay at tech.
That's only if they're super, super lame. I could see all the Facebook operators doing that, but any real interest in radio, you're going to be like, man, all I can do is this digital. It's cool, but I want to make some phone contacts. And then the other thing about it is you really kind of got to have your stuff together way better to make phone contacts and not be piss weak. FT8, you can use a super, super low power compromised, load up your bed springs kind of thing and get out there, and it works, and you'll be decoded, and you'll make some contacts, and it'll get the ball rolling. Because doing just FT8, I mean, you'd have to be pretty sick to be fine with just that. Because I think it'll open up the door, be like, hey, look, I put together a station. I contacted, all these different countries. This is cool. I'm gonna get into it, get a better antenna, and I want to talk to people. And I don't know. I feel like I have more faith in humanity, because nobody wants to just do FT8. They're going to get on there and get a taste for it with it and be like, man, I want to work some DX, make some phone contacts, get in on the nets. And by the time they've done FT8 for a while, they get a little bit of a feel of how all this works before they put together their nice station to go out there and talk to everybody.
Yeah, I definitely see both sides of the coin. I do. I don't know. Just in my opinion, I guess I don't have as much faith in humanity as you. I think people are lazy, and I think that people like you and I, Billy, at our age are obviously a rarity. Okay, who want to build antennas and build transmitters and build amplifiers and get on here and talk and rag chew and try every different mode, and if there's new stuff coming out, we want to try it just because we don't want to be we don't want to sit there and say, oh, well, I haven't done it, which is one of the reasons I want to get my extra. I've been procrastinating, but I don't like to have limits. I don't like somebody telling me I can't do something, And then you get in, like, you know, the FTA stuff. Then, you know, with tech privileges, you can't obviously run the same amount of power that you can with your general. You can't run legal limit or anything like that. So maybe that would be intriguing, you know, just for somebody to upgrade as well. Even though a lot of people don't run a lot of power on FT8, I do. I have. I don't all the time, but I have. But I don't know. Just in my opinion, I think that new hams nowadays, a lot of them are more into, you know, FT8 and the digital modes as opposed to getting on and putting up a big antenna and putting up, you know, a Yagi, a tower, and things like that. And I think they'll be doing FT8. I think that they'll just be satisfied with that. Oh, I can talk around the world, and I'm getting into Australia and on 40 on FT8, and I'm getting into Europe and Russia and Africa on 20. And in Antarctica, blah, 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 on FT8, and I don't need all this. Why spend all my money on this when I can do it just like this? Why go and take another test? I don't have to. I got everything I need right here. But in my opinion, and coming from a person like me, and I know you, I would get bored with that extremely quickly and want to upgrade. But in my opinion, I don't think everybody's like that.
When was
FT8 gangsta?
When was the last time
Perry,
you used FT8, Perry?
you just said it yourself. You know, the FT8 stuff is more attractive to these kids, and that right there is what you need to pay attention to, because it's all about attracting new operators and getting them out here and operating. And if they have to wait to use FT8 or whatever, they're going to get the ticket and be like, you know what, whatever, it's more tests, blah, blah, blah. No, they can pass one test, make HF contacts, do FT8, because that's what they want to do. And guess what you've just done? You've gotten some kid out on HF operating a ham radio. That's a good thing.
And he doesn't have to talk to anyone.
W2WNY, good evening.
Good evening. And what'd you say? What'd you ask, Bri?
When was the last time you actually sat down and operated some honest-to-God FT8?
Probably a month ago.
3 days ago?
So, I would think that if you give them HF privileges and you limit them to 100 watts, or limit them to 50 watts or 30 watts, whatever FT8 is supposed to be limited to, and
1,500.
Right, it's not a low power mode, it's a low signal mode.
The Japan, the Europe, the Asia, the other entities around the world there, then that once they've run their way through call sign or CQ call sign signal report, grid square 7.3, and gotten all their little silly awards, I would think that they'd get a better interest in improving their stations and antennas and so on and so forth like that. But my opinion, among many others, KB3WFV, and I heard of several breaking stations.
WA2WNY, good evening.
One.
Good evening, WNY.
Been sitting here listening, and I'd just like to hear the comment. I'm 63 years old. I think that one of the big issues with all of this stuff in the past was you could do something that you really couldn't do in any other mode. In other words, up until 2000, a phone call was an expensive entity. To chat with somebody, either across town or across the country, you really couldn't do for very long. In today's world, I can call California and chat for an hour and it doesn't cost me anything.
Right, yeah, I get what you're saying there. And good evening, my name's Perry, and the call is W3MMR. We're located right outside of Philadelphia. And Brian, I get your guys' point. I do. I guess I just look at it from the opposite side, you know, as far as initiative goes, you know, and wanting to be allowed to do it, you know, because I guess I'm looking at it as FT8's the most popular mode on ham radio right now, hands down. Okay. And it has been for a little while now. and you let somebody get on HF and have the upper part of the band, it's going to give them that initiative to want to, since they want to do FT8. All right, well, if I want to do FT8, I have to get my general, so I'm going to have to upgrade. You know what I mean? And they'll be able to have their technician license and be able to operate on those bands and get their station set up and ready to go on the HF bands. But then if I want to do FT8, I have to get this license, so it's going to be more of an initiative for them to upgrade. That's what I guess my point was. But I do see your guys' point. I think you make a really good argument.
Yeah, but Perry,
I understand what you're saying. I'll just add one last thought to it all here, is that
they've tried incentive licensing before. Look at history.
On the HF band.
I gotcha.
Well, you're going to have that segment that'll do that even if they had a general license. I'm going to go get my general license so I can use FT8 on the HF bands, and that's all they'll do. But a majority of them will upgrade to the phone privileges of the band. They shouldn't have any other privileges other than FT8 or digital. I think actually they should have some CW, and I think they do on some. But I don't know. It's right now, is there any activity on 10 or 6 right now? Nope.
It was earlier.
Going to have on the 2-meter
not true.
ISB, as Timmy calls it. People telling people like Connor that he's not a real ham because he didn't take code with his test. Although Connor can bang out 40 words per minute. So you get them down in the HF bands where they can pick up some DX and work all continents or whatever very easily, very quickly. I think that might spark an interest. Hey, this is fun. Not to mention the fact that all you gotta do is tune the VFO up or down and hear some conversation on those bands. I don't know. Who knows what to do? It's above my pay grade. Why? Probably one of many reasons why my butt will never sit in the CEO chair of ARRL. KB3WFV.
Hey, Brian.
There's two things.
Go to
together. Let me see if I got it.
No, I got it.
Thank you. So right now, text report, but they're only in the CW portion and for CW, which is ironic because they're no longer required to know CW. So now you can operate all you want on HF, but you have to use the mode that you were never
I'm on
tested
7.5, Billy,
and were never required to get. So I agree. Why not then say, okay, instead of saying you have HF privileges for CW only, why not you have HF privileges in the CW and digital portion of the bands?
Let's see.
Means that the technicians will go out and buy HF gear, and I agree with Billy. No one is going to be interested in FT8 forever. It's fun to try. It's instant gratification. You can go to PSK Reporter, the website, and see your 50 watts splatter all over the planet, and that's a real thrill. But after that, now what? Now you got this HF rig, which is capable of sideband and maybe AM and stuff. Well, you can't use that till you upgrade. That seems to make a lot of sense to me. And holy crap, not AM 1490. That's so weird. Freudian slip. Who am I? N1BCG. I'm so confused.
N1BCG W1UUU.
Yes. I got to make sure I give the right call sign next time.
Real quick, I want to respond to Brian.
Let's do FT8 right here, okay? So W1UUU, receive minus.
Oh, God.
8.
But I'm never going to be able to, and I accept that.
Just talk.
Man, I got to do that again.
Hey, Billy, go down to 75.
All right, W2BTK QSY.
Clark.
KB3WFV.
Brian, you make very good points.
I walked over to the Viking, and I'm like tuning the VFO, like, yo, nothing's happening. I like hit the spot, and I'm like turning the VFO, like, where the hell am I? dummy. You're on the Kenwood.
What were you trying to tell me, Billy?
10 meters is not dead, man. It is rocking, dude. Check out on PSK Reporter. Go look up W2VW. He's been doing 10 meter. Like New Zealand, this and that, the other thing. And then ask Chris if 6 meters is dead. They're totally not.
Yeah, I worked South America on a 10-meter phone the other day.
Must have been something recent. I haven't been up there in a while, and I've tried to work Chris on 6 there several times there with a 2-element 6-meter beam pointed his way and don't hear anything. So Chris is talking to somebody the next town over pretty much.
Yeah, he's talking to George, I think, into LJO, and I talked to Dave on 10 meters. Well, FT8.
Yeah, 10 meters was on fire a few days ago.
Yeah, a couple days ago I heard it was open.
Yeah, it was open this afternoon, too. I just didn't go up there.
But anyway, yeah, like, dude, if I was a tech and I could do FT8, if FT8 existed when I was a tech, and I could, like, put up some crappy antenna in my backyard and talk to Japan, like, oh, you know, I would have been on ham years ago. I would have probably skipped over the whole CB scenario and done ham radio, you know, because that's cool. All that kind of stuff was like unattainable to me back then. I had my tech ticket. I was like, what do I do now? Like, check into the traffic net on my local repeater at 10 o'clock every night, and like, you know, I got my ticket and it sat there dormant for 10 years, Brian. So I agree with you, Perry. You got to see it that way.
I see it. I see where you guys are coming from. I get it. I do. And I agree. I don't disagree. I agree. But that's the way I was looking at it, you know. But Billy, you really kind of put it in perspective, because I had my ticket for almost 4 years before I upgraded, you know, and I was still on CB for heavy for 4 years before I got my general, and then I haven't looked back ever since. Since the day I got my general, I passed my test. I haven't, honest to God, it was like my last day on 11 meters. And so when you mention it like that, it's a really good point. And like you said, I mean, with FT8, dude, when I first did FT8, I was like so hardcore into it. You know, I'd get up every morning at 3:30 before I go to work so I can get on 40 meters and work Antarctica and work like Macquarie Island and Australia and New Zealand on 40, and like I was super into it. I'd get on 20 meters in the evenings, and but then I kind of got burnt out with it a little bit, you know, and I don't do it nearly as much as I used to. And I'm back to, you know, AM more and back to sideband, and so that was a really good point where you would get burned out from FT8. Then now what? I have this radio that does all this stuff, and this is all I can do on it here. But I want to get up there where those guys are, and they're talking to these people who have accents all from around the world. I want to go up there and talk to those people.
Right. It's going to get them. They're going to get some HF rig from somebody or buy one or whatever. They're going to get their hands on something, get on FT8, do that for a while, and like during all that time, they're going to have an active HF rig in their house. You know, they're going to be viffoing around, listening to people, hearing people work DX. Maybe they'll come up here, hear people talking on AM and be like, man, like, yeah, you know, because that wasn't an option for me. I was like, okay, I've got this 2-meter radio, and I can either talk on repeaters or I could get out on my CB and like talk to people and do DX and this and that. But that's the only place I'm going to be doing that until I pass a bunch of goofy tests and stuff that I don't even know if I want to like commit myself to studying for, because like I have no taste for ham radio. Like I don't even know what it's about. So, you know, I know Brian probably has something to say.
I had a similar experience. I had a tech license for a while there, and it expired. And I was real active in the club because I found the electronics end of it fascinating. And I would go to different events like Field Day and stuff like that and operate the contesting just the fact that I could set this stupid antenna up in the field and run this radio on a generator and talk all around the world was interesting to me. I actually got involved in teaching a couple of the segments of the text classes with 12-volt electrical and stuff like that. So, but my exposure to the ham radio at that time was the special events, Aries or Races. I had no idea that AM existed. And had I known it, I would have stuck with it and gotten my license 30 years ago. But it wasn't until I'd gotten burned out on CB that I finally decided to go after the license. Pleasantly surprised that the code wasn't a big deal then. And I've been here ever since. There was another thought I was going to share there, but I enjoy meeting people. I enjoy hearing Perry's story and Billy's story and Clark's story and whoever's on the air's story. It's fascinating to me to meet somebody like Toby and get their point of view and how life's treating them from them. You know, I work a lot of 40, a lot of 80, a lot of 160, which is really, really stupid because there's a very expensive antenna in the air that'll work all the upper bands, but I thought the dad put it on 20 meters and spin it around and talk to Europe. And I'm not the 5'9", good copy, my 55-foot antenna, Pro 3, running 1,000 watts. You know, I want to know what Chef Boyardee's up to. What's he do for a living? You know, that type of stuff. People are fascinating. They have a story, and if you listen to them, they can teach you a lot. KB3WFV.
So I do have a story. I got a good one. Make sure I got it here. Yeah, let's see. When I got licensed, I got my tech license, and honest to God, I got onto the local repeater to me. It was probably the day after I got, my call sign. And it was literally 3 old guys talking about their prostate exam. And it was at that moment, to me, it was, you know what, I don't think this ham radio stuff is for me. And, is this what it's really about? A bunch of old farts out there talking about going and getting their prostates checked. But, I'd heard that on the HF bands you can get around the world. So I looked into it, went online, found out, go down to 14 megahertz, down on 20 meter, you can talk around the world. And I studied up, I got my general ticket. I think I got that it had to have been 3-4 months after I got my tech license. And the very first thing I tried is I heard about slow scan TV. So I was like, hey, I'm going to give that a shot. So I fire up and I put a full wave loop in my backyard, strung up with 20-foot pieces of PVC that I had laying around from plumbing business. And it tuned right out. It tuned out on 20 meters. I went onto the slow scan TV frequency, and I think it was my 3rd actual contact with a guy in Russia. And I was running 35 watts of power, and that's pretty much what hooked me right then and there. It's like, oh my God, with just this little tiny radio, a piece of junk laptop, some PVC pipe, and some wire that I had laying around, I was able to talk halfway around the world, sending pictures over the air. And, that hooked me on it right then and there. Unfortunately, I started, I got involved with, a girl, and then got married and divorced, and I was basically out of the hobby for 6 years and just getting back into it now. But, I think if back then, when I got my tech ticket, if I was able to come down onto the HF band with just a tech license and make a, DX contact, I would have got hooked on it much quicker. I could have just as easily not looked into HF frequencies. I could have very easily sat there with the tech license oh my God, all you can do is just talk to a bunch of old guys on a repeater about going to the doctor. So I was lucky that I looked into it a little more, but it could have easily gone the other way. KB3WFV.
See, luckily I had my father, so I just had to listen to my father. I grew up around this stuff all the time, and he just kept saying, he's like, get your general. You're not going to be able to do anything until you get your general. And I was just having so much fun on 11 meters. You know, it wasn't even, there was no motivation for me to get my general because I was doing so much on 11 at the time. And then I just kind of got, my dad's like, look, I'm telling you, as soon as you get your general, you're not going to look back. You're not going to look back. I'm like, yeah, whatever, sure. And boy, was he right.
Yeah, it's interesting. I was lucky with the club to have a friend that was heavily involved in it, so that's how I became involved in it. I think if I had walked in cold off the street, I wouldn't have stuck with it. And like Toby there, you know, life got in the way, house, kids, wife, job. The kids moved out, said everything I had to say to the wife, so what the hell else am I going to do? Oh, I have this box full of radios over here. Start back playing with them again. I'm going to step away, and I kind of abruptly pulled a bunch of people away from 85, so probably should go grab something to drink, a cigarette, a fresh can of butt paste, and head back up to 85. KB3WFV.
Coast to coast and worldwide. Leadfoot Radio, Philadelphia's audio flamethrower. Just got down.
That's funny. Yeah, I'm gonna get out of here myself. It's 8:30. I gotta go to bed soon. I gotta get up at 4:30, and so that's the story on that. But anyway, it's been fun, but it's time to run, and we'll catch up.
Coast to coast and worldwide. High fidelity amplitude modulation with Leadfoot Radio. You wanted audio? Now you got it. And here's your host, Leadfoot in the Zone.
I'll talk to you guys later.
Brian, you doubled. Brian's calling you, Perry.
You still here, Perry?
Yeah, I'm still here.
I caught that video you did of your dad and I and Clark there the other day. Who is that? You that did the intro to it, the promo to it?
I didn't know. That's not my voice on it, but I had somebody make that for me.
Nah. Cool. Sounds good. Recording sounds good, and having the screen from the Anon it keeps it interesting. So, all right. I think you were wandering off to some sheets and a pillow somewhere, and I still have to go. Take a station preservation break.
Yeah, I gotta get to bed. I gotta go clean the litter box. I'm cat sitting for my sister. So I have to clean the litter box, and I did it this morning, but, you know, I like to keep the cat, you know, happy, since it's not, you know, it's not at its home there, so let's keep it happy there. So we'll catch up with you guys later. It's been fun, but it's time to run.
It is important to keep the putty happy.
That's right. You got to keep the putty cat happy. We'll see you.
What's up, Brian?
The putty cat.
What's up, Brian?
Hey, Bobby.
See you later, Brian. See you later, Perry. Hey, Brian, we got to get you off those cigarettes, man. Have you ever considered trying a vape? Not that it's like a lot better, but it's like a lot better.
Yeah, I've been vaping for 5 years. I'll catch you guys later, Bobby, Bob, Brian, Clark. Oh, God damn it. Billy, I'll see you.
Catch you later, Perry. K1KBW.
W3's Perry, K4 KBW.
And hello to everybody. I shall return before I'm cleaning the litter box. I'll be right back. KB3WFV.
Wait, did you change your call sign? See you later, Brian.